I am Jacques Herzog. I'm an architect, having been working in London for quite a while. Been lucky to work on the Tate, and for this reason we were not qualifying to do a pavilion here, which was always making us very jealous, because we think it's a great thing, this format. And when we've been asked by Julia to design it together with Ai Weiwei, that was a pleasure in many ways. First of all, because we could finally do this, and it would give us a new opportunity to work again with Ai Weiwei. And but at the same time, because it has had all these other pavilions in the past, we knew that we didn't want to do something that has been done before. In other objects, because so many great objects have been done by all these architects in the past, and so to do something which is rather a piece of landscape or covered landscape was an immediate first idea, and to go underground for this reason, and that was very fast. And the cover that you see here is more like a mirror, which is very lively and involves the light of the sky, of the moving clouds, the trees, and reflects all this. Is part of the landscape. And somehow also we knew that if we dig in the ground we would find groundwater, and to reveal things that are not visible was like a leading kind of leading energy for us. We then knew that we couldn't go much deeper than 1.5 meters before we would find groundwater. That's also why we like this idea of the cover of this mirror, to sort of expose that or show it to the people, and to have the cover very, very low above the grass so that even children could see it, and would not feel obstructed by the object in the park. And the groundwater, that is the one thing that we went down to find. So the digging out was a process of exploring what we find. We knew that there was a telephone cable which runs through there. And in the course of the project, working together with Weiwei and Pierre, we said, okay, we go down, and well, it's not an innocent ground. We have a lot of things and all these traces of the past, which are physically there as a kind of in a form of refills, but they are there. So we said to ourselves, let's use that fact, that historical fact, and reconstruct it. And so we reconstructed it virtually, and then built models, and said we could use all this as a landscape for people to sit, to hang around, to stand, to be in small groups and larger groups, like an auditorium. And so step by step the design came together, and materializing it was another, I think, very interesting moment when we found that cork would be a very interesting material for the fact that it's so wonderful to touch and feels warm and like earth. So it has this mystery also to it that nobody really knows, actually. Very few know where it comes from, how it is produced. It's naturally produced, and makes it a very wonderful option. And also something that probably we could not have done at such a scale in a normal project. So the fact that it is a temporary structure, is reflected in that use of material as well.
And seeing it finished now, is there anything that surprises you about it? Anything that delights you more than you expected?
Honestly, I think I start to discover it. When you see something as an architect for the first time, you're very ambiguous about it, because you see the flaws. You have a history for this thing, whereas other people just take it as it is, And now I discover slowly the project, and because I have seen it in such another reality for such a long time, as a model, as a drawing, as just an idea, and I really wonder how it will be used by the people, and I think it was pretty successful this morning with the press people, which is quite a crowd, and it felt interesting. Also acoustically it was working well. You feel like more protected spatially, but also the noise of the street seems strangely remote. Interesting. I think it's good, but I think it's not my role to qualify it. I think it should be like, ideally, all the projects we work on something where people, have like find a richness in discovering things that we were not thinking of, rather than we kind of steering this way of perceiving something that we have done.
The story starts with the brilliant idea of Julia and Hans Ulrich to ask Wei Wei to work on this year's pavilion. Wei Wei cannot leave the country, and so we had regularly Skype sessions, but it was as if we were all the three in the same room. We are not the first doing something here. There have been our predecessors, and it was for us quite difficult to imagine to having another piece of architecture on this lawn. And very early came up the idea of having it underground, and the groundwater is quite high here. So then came up the idea of having it half buried. I believe that architecture is a discipline that is speaking to all your senses, not only your eyes or visually, but also with the nose as you smell the cork. We were quite intrigued by the idea of having a material which is soft, because this is where the people touch, where they encounter the material. You sit, you can touch it, to have something warm, something soft. It can also be milled. We overlapped all the different geometries. This was all in the computer, so it was all digitalized. So we could, from the computer, drill or manufacture models, but we also could manufacture directly the final product. So this is all milled by computer-aided manufacturing. Also acoustically, I think it's quite working, because we couldn't test that when you are here in the space, you are protected, and you don't hear the cars passing by in front of the pavilion. So it's less sound absorbing, but still you see them like passing by through a window. You see the wind, hopefully birds will come by. We don't know, but I think that will attract a lot of attention, and also attract people who not just come here for the pavilion, but just are bicycling around and stop. Oh, what is this water? As a sort of kind of mysterious, and then you go, oh, there's something below, then you enter. It should be the great thing, to have a place where people come together.